Finding the perfect tenant, not as hard as you think. Stay tuned to this week's episode of Prime Properties TV. Promise you, it'll be worth it. Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Properties TV. So glad you could join us here. It's March break. Although it has no relevance to me because I don't really have kids right now, it is relevant because right after this week, we start to see a lot more listings and the spring market will start. Last year was a little bit delayed, but let's see what kind of inventory level we'll be getting this year and in the near future. As usual, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the Prime Properties TV channel. Help spread our message out to local GTA investors, and much appreciated, guys. Now, one of the scariest things about real estate investing is generally finding the tenant that will cover your carrying costs for the property you just bought. This is usually the last step of the entire investing process, so I wanted to give you my tips and tricks in my toolbox to finding that perfect tenant. The most nerve-wracking position is before you find a tenant and after you find a good one, and right in between where you just buy a property. That's the most nerve-wracking. Now, most realtors wouldn't share this with you because I find that they're just trying to get more business out of you. But if you know the process, whether you decide to hire our team to find the tenant or not, at least you are armed with the knowledge and can sleep easier at night. Or at the very least, be less worried with your first investment property. So here are my 6 steps to finding the perfect tenant. 1, have a great looking product. And what I mean by that is most of the time, your prospective tenants will find you through some kind of online channel, whether it's realtor.ca, MLS, realtors.ca, Kijiji, etc. So their first impression of your property is going to be photos. That's why I recommend you have a professional photographer to get it done for you. It's roughly around $100. Now, plus you could also save gas and time travel. But however, if you are somewhat of a skilled photographer and can edit the photos yourself using Photoshop, you can always try to do it yourself. But I'm a person that believes in paying someone for their work so that you can continue doing what you're supposed to do. Remember, you can always reuse these photos in the future when your next tenant moves out and then your next tenant after that. So it is a very worthwhile investment because you can also write it off for taxes. 2, good copy and advertising. If you have good copywriting skills, this is where you should flex those muscles. You want to add to stand out and attract the most tenants. Don't just list the features, hardwood floors, etc., etc. You want to talk about the lifestyle, where it's near, transit, schools, and etc. And furthermore, you want to advertise on platforms that get a lot of traffic. Using a realtor gives you access to MLS and gives you more exposure, but it also costs you money with roughly 1 month rent of commission to hire a realtor. It definitely provides that exposure, but it comes at a cost. Here's a quick tip for you. What I found is that generally, if you have property for rent that's over $2,500, it's better to hire a realtor because the level of tenant you'll get on that price point is better. But if you have properties under $2,000, Kijiji will do the trick. You don't really need to hire a realtor. However, what I would recommend is definitely pay for top ads in the following sites: Kijiji, Craigslist, Toronto Rentals, and Facebook. 3, arranging for tours. Now, most people in Toronto live a very busy life. We're busy doing a lot of things outside of trying to fill a property. If you are not available showings, it can be difficult, and that's one of the reasons people hire realtors to take care of this. However, here's my tip for managing that issue. Do all your showings at the same time. Super key. If you have multiple interested parties go at the same time, think what it's going to look like, especially for that property. Highly coveted. Bidding war. If you followed steps 1 and 2 to a T, then you will have a ton of interest in your property and your phone will be ringing like crazy. Here's a tip for managing that phone call. Use a program such as RingCentral or Grasshopper to screen your calls and potential tenants that you may meet at the property. You can also change your voicemail saying something like this. This is what I teach a lot of my clients to use. You've reached Zhen. I'm unavailable right now. If you're inquiring about property X, please note that due to a large amount of interest, please text me your name and your phone number. I'll be showing this property on month X, date X at 2 p.m. or Sunday, month Y, date Y at 2 p.m. This way you're doing all your showings on those 2 times and you only have to show the property twice and you'll probably get a tenant for your property. Bam. 4, the application. Have everyone that's interested in your property after seeing it submit a rental application and a credit check application. This will give you an idea of who your top prospective tenants are. A standard rental application can be found with a simple Google search, very simple. For credit check, I would use a program I recommend called Neighborly, N-A-R-B-O-R-L-Y. It's a free and provides landlords of insights on how good a prospective tenant is. You can just ask the tenant to fill that out. 5, once you have multiple applications, select the top one, sign on to your standard lease, and again, a quick Google search, you'll find that form, it's somewhere. Most people ask me about putting certain clauses in the lease because it's very long, but they want to protect themselves. You can really do what you want as you wish. Just understand that none of your clauses are going to hold up in the landlord-tenant board if it goes that far. Just an example is you can forbid pets, but in the landlord-tenant board, you can't actually do that. 6, On closing day, exchange keys for all posted checks, proof of fire, liability insurance, utility transfer so that they're paying for it and stuff, and bam, bam, voila, finding your perfect tenant. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Rinse and repeat for your investment property, and I hope that sheds some light on the entire process. Once you do it the first time, although it may seem difficult now, it really is not that hard. It's just a little bit overwhelming because it's probably the first time you heard about it. What I usually recommend to my clients is that if you are worried about finding a tenant, hire our team. We'll find that first tenant for you. We'll show you how we do our process, which is what I just listed for you, so that you can become an independent and confident investor in finding your next perfect tenant. Until next time, guys, happy real estating.